Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you are not here by accident? What if I told you that your presence in this world, in this moment, is no coincidence? You are chosen. Yes, chosen. You are not here just to survive, but to thrive on a level that goes beyond your wildest dreams. The world may have told you that becoming a billionaire is reserved for a select few, but I'm here to tell you that the Almighty has already chosen you. Your destiny was designed long before you were born. You were handpicked by the Creator to step into a life of abundance, influence, and wealth. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I've never seen myself as someone capable of that kind of success. Let me correct that thought. You were not born to live in mediocrity. You were born to live in the fullness of God's promises for your life. The same God who said, "Let there be light," has spoken abundance over your life. You are chosen for greatness, not by chance, but by divine design. The idea that you are where you are because of a random series of events is a lie that the world often feeds us. The truth is that your life has purpose, and it is bigger than what you may have been led to believe. You are not just another person trying to navigate this world. You are a vessel that carries the potential to change not only your life, but the lives of countless others. The fact that you exist in this very moment is a testament to the Creator's intentionality. The same God who formed the universe, set the stars in their places, and created everything with precision and purpose, has designed you with a unique calling. From the moment of your conception, the blueprint for your life was crafted. You are not an accident, nor are you someone who happened to find yourself in a certain situation without a greater purpose behind it. You were chosen before the foundations of the world were laid. God, in His infinite wisdom and love, saw fit to create you with all your strengths, challenges, gifts, and dreams, knowing that you would walk the earth at this precise moment in time. What an extraordinary thought that is. You were handpicked by the Creator to fulfill a purpose that only you can accomplish. Your destiny is already written, and it's not one of mediocrity, but one of greatness, abundance, and influence. You may be wondering, how can I be chosen for greatness? You might not feel particularly powerful or important, and at times you may even feel insignificant. But that feeling is a lie, a deception that the enemy would love for you to embrace. Because if you believe that you're not chosen, you will never step into your potential. The truth is, greatness resides within you, placed there by the Creator. It may not look like the world's version of greatness with fame, fortune, or status, but it is greatness nonetheless. The greatness within you is the ability to impact lives, to create something meaningful, and to rise to levels of success that many would deem impossible. This greatness is wrapped up in your potential to become the person you were meant to be, the one who not only changes their own life, but is a catalyst for transformation in the lives of others. You may have been told that only the wealthy, the influential, or the well-connected can achieve extraordinary success. This narrative has kept many people in a mindset of limitation, where they feel that their dreams are out of reach. However, God's perspective is vastly different. He does not see success in terms of the world's standards. In His eyes, success is measured by obedience, purpose, and faithfulness. You don't need to be born into wealth or privilege to achieve success. You need to recognize that you are a vessel chosen by God to manifest His glory in your life. Whether you come from humble beginnings or have faced immense challenges, God's plan for you is still intact, and His power to bless you is not restricted by your circumstances. The world will try to tell you that you must work hard and earn everything, that nothing is free, and that you must fight for everything you want. While there is truth in the value of hard work, the key to unlocking your greatness is understanding that it's not your labor alone that will get you to where you are meant to be. It's your partnership with God, your recognition of the divine plan He has set before you, that will lead to your success. You are chosen not because of what you can do on your own, but because of what you can do through Him. The talents, the gifts, the wisdom, and the opportunities that are coming to you are all a part of the divine design to fulfill the purpose you were created for. One of the most powerful truths you can embrace is that you don't have to fight for what God has already prepared for you. He has already established your path, and He has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your purpose. The moment you step into the understanding that you are chosen by God for greatness, a shift will begin to happen in your life. You will start to see things differently, to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to display God's power and provision. You will recognize that the resources, the connections, and the breakthroughs that you've been waiting for are already on their way, because God's timing is perfect and His plan is unwavering. The greatness that lies within you is not just for personal gain. It is not about accumulating wealth, fame, or accolades for the sake of self-glory. The greatness that God has placed in you is meant to be a blessing to others. You were chosen to be a vessel of His love, His provision, and His wisdom. The more you step into the fullness of what God has called you to, the more lives you will touch. Your greatness will inspire others to rise to their own potential. Your success will create opportunities for others to succeed. Your testimony of God's faithfulness will serve as a beacon of hope for those who feel lost or discouraged. When you live out the calling on your life, you become a living example of God's power to transform. The world needs you to step into your greatness. The world is waiting for you to show up as the person God intended for you to be. The wealth, the influence, the success, everything that you desire is already lined up for you. But it requires you to recognize that you are chosen, and that recognition will be the key to unlocking all that God has prepared for you. The moment you understand that your life is not a random sequence of events but a divinely orchestrated purpose, you will begin to walk with confidence, knowing that God's hand is upon you. This is not just about personal success. This is about legacy. You were chosen not only for the here and now, but for the generations to come. Your decisions, your actions, and your faithfulness today will echo for years, even centuries to come. The greatness within you is not just for your own benefit, it's for the advancement of the kingdom and the fulfillment of God's purpose on earth. You have been chosen to make a difference, to impact lives, and to leave a mark on this world that will last long after you are gone. So as you stand here today, I want you to grasp this truth. You are chosen. You were chosen before the foundations of the world. You were chosen for greatness, for success, and for purpose. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, your destiny has been sealed by God Himself. It's time for you to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. Your greatness is not a future possibility, it's a present reality. All you have to do is step into it. You are chosen, and nothing can stop you from becoming everything God has destined for you to be. Becoming a billionaire is not a random stroke of luck. nor is it something that only a select few are predestined for. The idea that only the privileged or the extraordinarily talented can achieve great wealth is a fallacy that has been perpetuated for far too long. The truth is, God has already chosen you for greatness. And this greatness includes the abundant wealth He has intended for you. The wealth that you desire, the success that you dream about, is not something that you must struggle endlessly to attain. It has already been predestined, and all that remains is for you to step into the fullness of your calling. The moment you understand that becoming a billionaire is not a far-off dream but a part of your divine purpose, everything will change. You see, God doesn't look at your current circumstances or your past mistakes. He doesn't measure your worth by the number of zeros in your bank account or the family you were born into. His plans for you are much bigger and broader than what the world would have you believe. You were chosen for greatness before the foundations of the earth were laid, and part of that greatness is financial abundance. This wealth is not for selfish gain. It is for a much higher purpose. The world has a way of measuring success in terms of fame, wealth, and influence, and it often makes us believe that these things are out of reach unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth or you possess an extraordinary talent. But the truth is, God's definition of success is vastly different from the world's. To God, success isn't about who you know or how much you can accumulate for yourself. Success is about fulfilling the purpose He has given you and using the resources He places in your life to advance His kingdom and serve others. Becoming a billionaire in this context is not about chasing after wealth for the sake of it. It is about fulfilling your divine purpose and using the wealth that comes with that purpose to bring glory to God and bless others. When you understand that wealth is part of God's plan for you, you begin to shift your focus from mere survival to purpose-driven living. Your purpose is the key that unlocks the doors of abundance in your life. God doesn't bless us just for the sake of blessing. He blesses us because He has an assignment for us to complete. He has chosen us to be stewards of His resources so that we can make a difference in this world. And the more you align yourself with His purpose for your life, the more He will pour out His favor upon you. This is not to say that the road to wealth is always easy or that there won't be challenges along the way. But it does mean that as you pursue your divine calling, God will provide the resources, the opportunities, and the connections you need to succeed. The wealth that you desire is not a distant dream that is unattainable. It is a part of the plan that God has already set into motion. All you need to do is take the necessary steps to step into that destiny. Many people fail to realize that the pursuit of wealth can be a spiritual journey in and of itself. As you walk down the path that God has set for you, you will encounter obstacles and setbacks. But these are not meant to discourage you. They are meant to refine you, to strengthen your faith, and to prepare you for the great wealth that God has in store. When you face challenges, it's important to remember that God is using these moments to mold you into the person He needs you to be in order to handle the blessings He is about to pour out on your life. The challenges you face are not a sign that you are off course. They are a sign that you are on the right track. If everything was smooth and easy, there would be no room for growth. God uses adversity to develop your character and prepare you for the greatness He has planned for you. So when you encounter difficulties, don't give up or lose hope. Instead, see them as opportunities to grow, knowing that each step you take is bringing you closer to the financial abundance and success that God has already promised you. What sets you apart is the understanding that the wealth that comes to you is not a result of your own efforts alone. Yes, hard work, dedication, and discipline are important, but the true source of your success is God. When you understand that your wealth is tied to your purpose and that God is the ultimate provider, you will begin to see your success as a direct result of His favor and provision. This understanding frees you from the burden of constantly striving and struggling to make ends meet. Instead of constantly fighting for your success, you can rest in the knowledge that God is already at work, aligning the right opportunities, people, and resources in your life to ensure that you reach your divine destiny. One of the most powerful truths that comes with understanding that God has chosen you to be a billionaire is that wealth is not an end in itself. Wealth is a tool that you will use to fulfill your purpose, to bless others, and to bring glory to God. Your wealth is meant to be a blessing, not only to you but to the world around you. As you step into the fullness of your calling, you will begin to see how your success impacts those around you. Your financial breakthrough will open doors for others, provide opportunities for those in need, and create a legacy that will last far beyond your lifetime. As you pursue your divine calling, it's important to remember that God's timing is perfect. There may be times when it feels like your breakthrough is delayed or that you are not moving as quickly as you would like, but you must trust in God's timing, knowing that He is orchestrating everything in your life according to His perfect plan. The wealth and success you desire will come at the right time, and when it does, it will come in such a way that it will exceed your expectations. God is preparing you for what is to come, and when the time is right, He will release His blessings upon you in abundance. So understand this: becoming a billionaire is not an impossible dream. It is part of God's divine plan for your life. The wealth you desire is not out of reach. It is already a part of your destiny. All you need to do is align yourself with God's purpose, trust in His timing, and step into the fullness of what He has planned for you. As you do this, you will begin to see the doors of opportunity open before you, and the wealth that you have been destined for will begin to manifest in your life. Your mindset is the key to unlocking the wealth that has been predestined for you. The way you think, the beliefs you hold, and the attitudes you embrace will determine how far you can go and the level of success you can achieve. If you don't believe that you are meant for greatness, then you will never rise to the heights of success that God has planned for you. The Bible teaches us that as a man thinks, so is he. Your thoughts shape your reality, and they are the foundation upon which your future is built. In order to step into the abundance that God has for you, your mindset must shift from one of limitation to one of possibility, from one of scarcity to one of abundance, and from one of fear to one of faith. The first thing you need to realize is that God has already given you everything you need to succeed. You have been equipped with the talents, gifts, and potential to rise above the challenges that you may face. But if you view yourself as inadequate or incapable, you will limit your own potential. Your beliefs about yourself, your abilities, and your future will either propel you forward or hold you back. If you believe that becoming a billionaire is something that's beyond your reach, then it will always be out of your grasp. However, when you change your mindset and begin to believe that success is your birthright, you will start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and you will take action in ways that align with your divine purpose. One of the most important shifts you must make is moving from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. The world constantly feeds us the idea that resources are limited, that there is not enough to go around, and that if one person wins, another person loses. This mindset breeds competition, comparison, and fear of failure. But God's economy is not governed by scarcity. In His eyes, there is more than enough for everyone. He is a God of abundance, and He has created an abundance of resources, opportunities, and blessings for His children. When you embrace this truth, you begin to see the world in a completely different way. Instead of viewing wealth as a limited commodity, you understand that wealth is an unlimited resource that flows freely from God's hand. The more you align your thinking with this abundance, the more opportunities you will begin to see, and the more wealth will flow into your life. The next shift in mindset you need to make is moving from a mindset of fear to one of faith. Fear has a paralyzing effect on your potential. It causes you to second guess yourself, hold back from taking risks, and avoid stepping out into the unknown. Fear tells you that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, or that something will go wrong if you try. But faith operates in the opposite spirit. Faith believes that God is faithful to His promises, that He has already equipped you for success, and that He will provide everything you need along the way. Faith is what enables you to take bold steps forward, even when you don't have all the answers, or when the path ahead is unclear. It is through faith that you unlock the door to your destiny and begin to walk in the fullness of the blessings that God has prepared for you. The key to living by faith is trusting that God's timing is perfect. Often we become discouraged because we don't see immediate results, or because things aren't happening as quickly as we want them to. But faith requires patience. It requires trusting that God is working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it. There are moments when the road to success may seem long, and you may feel like giving up. But it is in these moments that you must hold fast to the belief that God is in control, and that He is moving things around on your behalf. When you have faith in God's ability to lead you and provide for you, you can step confidently into the future, knowing that His plan for you will always succeed. In addition to shifting your mindset, you must also take deliberate action. Faith without works is dead. You cannot sit idly by and expect wealth to simply fall into your lap. God will provide the opportunities, but it is your responsibility to act on them. When you believe that you are destined for success, you will begin to take the necessary steps to bring that success into reality. These steps may involve learning new skills, seeking out new opportunities, networking with the right people, or simply stepping out of your comfort zone. Whatever the action may be, it is important that you take it. God works through your actions, and He will direct your steps as you move forward in faith. You must also maintain an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful mindsets you can cultivate. When you are grateful for what you already have, it opens the door for more blessings to flow into your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, and this shift attracts more of God's blessings. It also helps you to remain grounded and humble as you rise to success. When you are grateful for the small things, you create a spirit of abundance that draws even more to you. Another important aspect of your mindset shift is learning to see challenges as opportunities. The road to success is rarely smooth, and you will encounter difficulties along the way. But the way you respond to those challenges will determine your level of success. If you view challenges as insurmountable obstacles, you will become discouraged and give up. However, if you see them as opportunities for growth and development, you will be able to navigate them with strength and resilience. Challenges are a part of the process, and they are often the very things that prepare you for the greatness that God has for you. Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback, and every failure is a lesson that brings you closer to your breakthrough. As you continue to embrace an abundance mindset, live by faith, and take intentional action, you will begin to see the manifestation of the wealth that God has promised you. It may not happen overnight, and there will be moments of doubt and uncertainty, but when you stay focused on your purpose and remain aligned with God's plan, your breakthrough will come. Your mindset will be the foundation upon which your success is built, and with each step you take in faith, the doors of opportunity will swing wide open, revealing the path that leads to the financial abundance and greatness that you were always destined for. God qualifies the chosen, and this truth is essential for understanding that you are already equipped for the greatness that lies ahead of you. It is not your qualifications, your status, or your current circumstances that determine whether or not you will succeed. Instead, it is God's calling upon your life and His decision to choose you that qualifies you for the life of abundance and success that He has prepared for you. The world may tell you that you must prove yourself through education, experience, or social connections in order to succeed, but God's economy works on a completely different principle. In His eyes, He qualifies you through His love, His grace, and His divine plan for your life. When God chooses you, it is not based on what you have already done or what you think you can do on your own. God looks at the heart, not the outward appearance. He sees potential where others may see weakness, and He sees greatness where others may see failure. The qualifications that the world values, titles, degrees, or achievements, hold no weight in God's eyes when He calls you to greatness. God doesn't call the equipped, He equips. If God has chosen you for something significant, He will provide the necessary tools, wisdom, and resources to fulfill that calling. You may not feel ready or capable in your own strength, but God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. Think about some of the great biblical figures who were chosen by God to fulfill incredible purposes. Moses, for example, was chosen to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, even though he felt unworthy and incapable. He was a man who had spent years in exile, hiding from his past mistakes, yet God called him to be a deliverer. Moses questioned God's choice, asking why God would choose him, a man with a speech impediment and a history of failure. Yet, despite his insecurities, God qualified him for the task. God's response was simple: I will be with you. This is the assurance that you can carry with you as well. It is not about your qualifications or capabilities, but about the presence of God in your life. When God is with you, He equips you with everything you need to succeed. David is another example. He was a young shepherd boy, seemingly insignificant compared to his brothers, yet God chose him to be king. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint a new king, he passed over David, assuming that someone older, stronger, and more experienced would be the one to lead Israel. But God told Samuel, "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." David was not qualified in the eyes of man, but he was chosen by God. His anointing as king was not because of his appearance or his experience. It was because of his heart and the favor of God upon him. David's story is a testament to the fact that God doesn't choose people based on their outward qualifications, but on their hearts and His divine plan for them. God's choice of David is especially relevant when you think about your own life. You may look at others who seem more qualified, more capable, or more experienced and wonder why God has chosen you for the task ahead. You may question your abilities, your background, or your qualifications. But it's important to remember that God sees your heart. He sees the desires and dreams He has placed inside of you. He knows the potential you carry, even if you don't fully see it yourself. God's calling on your life isn't about what you have or haven't done. It's about the plan He has for you and the purpose He has set before you. When God calls you to greatness, He is the one who qualifies you for that greatness. One of the most powerful aspects of God's qualification is the concept of divine provision. When God calls you to something, He does not expect you to figure it all out on your own. He doesn't ask you to depend solely on your own understanding, strength, or resources. Instead, He provides everything you need. Think of how God provided for the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness. Despite their grumbling and lack of faith, God supplied manna from heaven and water from a rock. Even when they lacked the resources to succeed, God made a way. In the same way, God will provide everything you need to succeed in the purpose He has called you to. This provision is not limited to physical resources, but extends to wisdom, guidance, and divine favor. When God qualifies you, He opens doors that no man can shut and provides opportunities that you never could have imagined. He places the right people in your path, gives you the wisdom to make wise decisions, and pours out His favor in ways that exceed your expectations. You don't have to rely on your own abilities or strive endlessly to make things happen. Instead, you can trust that God will provide the necessary resources and direction to fulfill the calling He has placed on your life. God's qualification also comes with divine empowerment. He empowers you to succeed, not because of your own strength, but because of His presence in your life. Think about the story of the Apostle Paul. Paul was once a persecutor of Christians, yet God chose him to be one of the most influential apostles in history. His qualification didn't come from his past or his natural abilities. It came from the power of God at work within him. Paul recognized that it was not his own strength but the grace of God that enabled him to accomplish great things for the kingdom of God. He wrote in Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." This is the mindset that you must embrace as you step into the greatness God has called you to. You are not relying on your own abilities. You are relying on God's power to equip and empower you to fulfill your purpose. As you begin to understand that God qualifies the chosen, you will find that your sense of self-worth and confidence will shift. Instead of relying on your own strength or looking to the world's standards to determine your qualifications, you will begin to recognize that your worth comes from God's calling and His divine purpose for your life. This understanding frees you from the fear of failure and the pressure to meet the world's expectations. You can walk confidently in the knowledge that God has already qualified you for the success that lies ahead. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone because God has already approved you. Your identity and purpose are secure in Him. With this truth in mind, you can approach every challenge and opportunity with confidence. When you face obstacles, remember that it is not your own qualifications that will see you through, but God's presence and provision. When you encounter setbacks, know that God's qualifications are greater than any difficulty you may face. The obstacles you face are simply opportunities for God to show His power in your life. As you step forward, trusting that God has already qualified you, you will see doors open, favor pour out, and success become a reality, because it is not about your abilities, but about God's qualifications for your life. The call to greatness that God places on your life is not a passive invitation, but an active invitation to take dominion over the areas He has given you. Dominion is not a suggestion or an option, it is a divine command. When God created man, He gave him dominion over the earth to rule and reign over every living thing. This dominion is part of your divine inheritance, and it is critical that you recognize the power you have as a chosen individual to walk in the authority that God has given you. Many people struggle with the concept of dominion because they see it as something reserved for a select few. But the truth is that every person chosen by God has been given the authority to reign, prosper, and take control of the areas they have been called to. Dominion is the authority to exercise power over what God has entrusted to you. It is the ability to make decisions, take action, and determine the direction of your life and influence the world around you. It means that you are not subject to the circumstances of life, but are empowered to shape those circumstances through your actions, decisions, and faith. You are not called to merely exist in this world. You are called to change it, to bring about transformation, and to walk in victory in every area of your life. God has given you the ability to take dominion over your finances, your health, your relationships, and your future. Understanding dominion starts with understanding that it comes from God's authority. When God created the heavens and the earth, He spoke everything into existence by His Word. His Word has the power to create and to change things. In the same way, His Word has the power to shape your destiny. When you understand that dominion is given to you by God, you stop relying on your own abilities or the world's systems to determine your success. Instead, you recognize that you have the power of God's Word on your side, and you begin to speak life, declare victory, and take authority over every situation that stands in your way. You have the same authority that Jesus demonstrated when He spoke to the storm and calmed the waves, when He cast out demons and healed the sick. You are a child of God, and the authority He has given you is unmatched. When you take dominion over your life, you begin to understand that the world does not dictate your future. Your circumstances do not define you, nor do they have the power to control your destiny. Too many people live under the belief that they are victims of their environment, their upbringing, or their past mistakes. They believe that their financial situation, their lack of opportunity, or their struggles with health and relationships determine their success. But God's plan for you is bigger than any of those things. He has already given you dominion over your life, and it is up to you to rise up and exercise that authority. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is where you are going and the power you have to change your reality. Dominion also means taking responsibility for the areas God has entrusted to you. It is not enough to simply acknowledge that you have authority. You must also take action with that authority. God has given you the power to make decisions and take steps that lead to transformation, but He does not force you to act. You must take responsibility for your choices, your actions, and your future. This means that instead of blaming others or your circumstances for your lack of success, you take ownership of your life. You are the one who decides how you will respond to challenges, how you will invest your time, and how you will use your talents to fulfill the purpose God has for you. Many people fail to walk in dominion because they fear failure or rejection. They are afraid of making mistakes or taking risks. However, walking in dominion requires courage because it often means stepping out into the unknown, going against the grain, and taking risks that others might not be willing to take. You must have the faith to trust that God is with you, guiding you and empowering you to succeed. There will be challenges, and there will be times when you don't have all the answers. But dominion means stepping forward with the confidence that God's power is working in you and through you. You were not meant to play it safe. You were meant to take bold steps toward the destiny God has called you to. One of the greatest demonstrations of dominion is in the area of financial abundance. When you take dominion over your finances, you stop being controlled by fear, lack, or uncertainty about money. Financial struggles are one of the most common reasons people feel trapped, and they often keep people from stepping into their purpose. But when you understand that God has given you dominion over your finances, you begin to see money as a tool, not a master. You realize that you are not subject to the fluctuations of the economy, the whims of the job market, or the opinions of others. You are in control of your financial future. Taking dominion over your finances means that you stop living paycheck to paycheck, stop allowing debt to control you, and start making strategic decisions to grow your wealth. It means creating a plan for your finances, being disciplined in your spending, and making investments that will yield a return. Dominion over finances also means that you recognize the power of giving. God blesses you not only so that you can meet your own needs, but also so that you can be a blessing to others. When you operate with a mindset of abundance, you understand that the more you give, the more you receive. As you honor God with your finances and make wise decisions, you will begin to see financial breakthrough and prosperity flow into your life. The exercise of dominion also extends to your health and well-being. Too many people accept sickness, fatigue, and poor health as a normal part of life. But God has given you dominion over your body as well. Your health is a gift from God, and you have the power to take control of it. Walking in dominion means making choices that honor your body. From the foods you eat to the way you manage stress to how you exercise and care for yourself. It also means standing against any attack on your health with faith and authority. When sickness or disease tries to take hold, you can stand firm in the knowledge that you have the power to speak life and healing into your body. God has given you authority over your health. And as you walk in that authority, you will experience vitality, strength, and restoration. When you understand that dominion is a part of your inheritance, you begin to see every area of your life as an opportunity to exercise God's authority. Dominion is not something you can pick and choose when to use. It is something that must be consistently practiced in every area of your life. Whether it's your career, your finances, your relationships, or your health, God has given you the authority to take control and transform your circumstances. As you step into this divine authority, you will not only see your own life transformed, but will also become a vessel for transformation in the lives of others. Taking dominion means that you are walking in the fullness of the purpose that God has called you to. And you are exercising His power to bring about change and impact in the world. Embracing your dominion means embracing your responsibility, your purpose, and your God-given ability to lead and influence the world around you. You are not a passive observer in your life. You are an active participant, and you have the power to shape your future. The world needs people who will rise up and take dominion, and you are one of those people. God has chosen you, equipped you, and empowered you to reign, and it is time to step into the fullness of that calling. The final key to unlocking the destiny God has prepared for you is understanding the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. Every journey toward greatness, especially the path to wealth and success, is riddled with challenges. The road is never straight, and there will always be obstacles designed to test your faith, resolve, and commitment to your purpose. It's easy to become discouraged when things aren't going as planned, or when you face setbacks that seem insurmountable. However, it's in these very moments that the chosen ones are distinguished from the rest. It is in the moments of adversity that you have the opportunity to prove your commitment to the vision God has given you. Perseverance is not just about enduring. It's about pushing through the trials with the understanding that each trial is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. The story of Joseph in the Bible is a prime example of perseverance through adversity. Joseph was chosen by God for a great purpose, but the journey to his destiny was far from easy. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused of a crime he did not commit, and imprisoned for years, all while holding on to the promise that God had a plan for him. Despite all the hardships Joseph faced, he never gave up on the vision God had given him. He continued to trust God and remain faithful, even when everything seemed to be falling apart. His perseverance ultimately led him to become second in command in Egypt, where he was able to save his family and the entire nation from famine. Joseph's story teaches us that even when things don't make sense, even when we face trials that seem unjust, God is still in control, and He is working all things together for our good. Perseverance in the face of adversity is what will eventually lead to the fulfillment of the purpose God has for your life. One of the biggest obstacles to perseverance is the fear of failure. When you encounter challenges, it's easy to think that you have made the wrong decision or that you are not cut out for the task at hand. Failure, however, is not the end. It is often a stepping stone on the road to success. Every successful person has encountered failure at some point in their journey. What separates those who succeed from those who give up is their ability to view failure not as a permanent setback, but as a temporary situation that can be overcome. Failure is simply an opportunity to learn, grow, and adjust your approach. When you embrace failure as a part of the process, it no longer has the power to stop you. Instead, it becomes a tool that God can use to refine your character and build your resilience. The key to overcoming fear of failure is to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the possibility of failing, focus on the lessons you will learn and the growth that will take place through the process. Remember that God has called you to greatness, and no failure can thwart His plans for your life. The enemy will try to use failure as a tool to discourage you. But when you stay focused on God's promises and trust in His timing, you will find the strength to persevere. It's important to understand that every challenge you face is part of the refining process that prepares you for the greatness God has in store for you. The journey may not be easy, but the reward will be worth it. Another important aspect of perseverance is maintaining a vision of the future that motivates you to keep moving forward. When the obstacles seem insurmountable and the challenges feel endless, it's easy to become distracted by the current circumstances and lose sight of the bigger picture. However, it's crucial that you maintain a clear vision of where you are going and the person you are becoming. This vision should be rooted in God's calling for your life. When you have a vision that is greater than your current circumstances, you are able to push through the tough times with determination and purpose. Your vision will give you the strength to continue when the road gets rough and when others may doubt you or question your abilities. The Apostle Paul provides a great example of perseverance in his letter to the Corinthians. Despite facing constant opposition, imprisonment, and hardship, Paul continued to press forward, keeping his eyes fixed on the ultimate goal, the prize that awaited him in Christ. He wrote, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us." This perspective is essential for anyone who is pursuing a great purpose. When you understand that your present struggles are temporary and that God is preparing you for something greater, you are able to endure with hope and faith. Your vision of the future becomes a powerful motivator that drives you to keep going, even when the journey seems long and difficult. As you continue to persevere, you must also recognize that there is power in community. It's easy to feel isolated when you're facing challenges, but the truth is that God has placed people in your life to help you along the way, whether it's friends, mentors, or family members. God will provide the support you need to continue moving forward. Surround yourself with people who will encourage you, pray for you, and help you stay focused on your goals. You do not have to go through this journey alone. In fact, community is one of the most important resources you can have as you pursue the purpose God has given you. The Bible says that two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their toil. When you have people who are standing with you and supporting you, the journey becomes easier and the burden lighter. It's also important to remember that perseverance requires patience. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become impatient when things don't happen quickly. We want immediate results, but God's timing is often different from our own. Patience is a fruit of the Spirit, and it is something that must be developed as you wait for God's perfect timing. When you learn to trust in God's timing, you are able to remain faithful even when things aren't moving as fast as you would like. Patience allows you to stay grounded, to keep working, and to trust that God is working everything out behind the scenes. It is in the waiting that God develops your character, teaches you valuable lessons, and prepares you for the next phase of your journey. Perseverance also requires endurance. It's one thing to start strong, but it's another to finish the race. The Bible teaches us that the race is not to the swift, but to those who endure to the end. Endurance is the ability to keep going when everything inside of you says to give up. It's the strength to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when the path ahead seems unclear. When you cultivate endurance, you become unstoppable. You begin to realize that nothing can stand in your way because you have the determination to continue moving forward, no matter what. The power of perseverance lies in its ability to transform you. Every challenge, every setback, and every moment of adversity is shaping you into the person God has called you to be. It is through perseverance that your character is refined, your faith is strengthened, and your purpose becomes clearer. When you persevere, you show God that you are committed to His plan for your life. You demonstrate that you trust His timing and that you are willing to do whatever it takes to see His promises come to fruition. When you persevere through adversity, you unlock the doors to your destiny. The challenges you face today are not permanent. They are stepping stones that will lead you to the greatness that God has prepared for you. The key is to never give up, to keep pressing forward, and to trust that God is with you every step of the way. As you persevere, you will find that your faith is strengthened, your vision is clearer, and your purpose becomes more fulfilled. At the end, the journey to unlocking the greatness that God has called you to is not without its challenges, but it is a journey that is worth every step. You were chosen by God to rise above your circumstances, to take dominion over your life, and to walk in the authority and purpose He has set before you. It is through perseverance, faith, and a deep understanding of your divine inheritance that you will overcome the obstacles, break through the barriers, and achieve the success and fulfillment that God has promised. Remember that adversity is not a sign of failure, but a sign of opportunity. An opportunity to grow, to refine your character, and to step closer to the person God created you to be. Your vision, perseverance, and ability to stay anchored in God's promises will lead you to the prosperity and abundance that are already part of your divine destiny. As you continue to press forward, Always keep in mind that God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, empowering you, and equipping you to take dominion over every area of your life. You were chosen for greatness, and it's time to unlock it today. Rise up in your faith, embrace your authority, and walk boldly into the future that God has prepared for you. Your journey to success and wealth is not just about achieving personal goals. It is about fulfilling God's purpose for your life and becoming a light to the world around you. Now is the time to claim what is rightfully yours, to take dominion, and to step into the calling God has placed upon you. The world is waiting for you to rise and shine, and there is no limit to what God can do through you.